Part 123. Canon Fodder Strategy. Author, Juan ERWR. Chapter 1222. Go away, leave quickly. Shen Chun closed his eyes and did not dare to look at Miss Yuan's face. She waved her hands like crazy, but Miss Yuan didn't take it seriously. Instead, she lowered her head shyly and stretched out her hand to rub the hem of her clothes. Mr. Shen and I have made a lifelong commitment. We will worship each other and we will be married. Kiss, I am already Shen Lang's person. Lily raised the corners of her mouth when she heard this. The power of the plot is indeed powerful. In the plot, Shen Chun married Miss Yuan, and they were affectionate with Miss Yuan. Miss Yuan fell in love with him, but he didn't expect that if he had to do it all over again, Miss Yuan would still be destined to him. She was not prepared to care about Shen Chun's life or death. Anyway, the original owner was unwilling to be possessed by the female ghost, and it was her regret to die in this ancient house. Now Lily was not dead, and the female ghost was not occupied. After taking advantage of her body, if the female ghost and Shen Chun were truly destined, it would have nothing to do with him. No, get out of here. If anyone marries you, it's a lie. When Shen Chun heard what Miss Yuan said, he waved his hands like crazy. Don't come close to me, don't. It is a pity that Miss Yuan is not as easy to dismiss as Lily Song in the past. She was at an innocent and romantic age when she died, and because she was not married before her death, there were problems with the Sun family at the beginning, and Warlord Yuan and others left in a hurry. He didn't even arrange a secret marriage for her. She had been alone for more than 100 years and was already lonely. The girl was at the age when she was pregnant with Spring, and Shen Chun became attached to her in a dream. Regardless of whether it was because of the Li family or not, the marriage was still forged. It would not be easy for Shen Chun to get rid of her. The most important. When she died, she was abandoned by her father and was left in a coffin to suffocate to death. What she hated most was that someone left her behind. At this time, she heard that Shen Chun turned his back and refused to recognize anyone. She didn't want to marry her yet, so she immediately turned her face and came over with that gloomy grimace. What did you say? You don't want to marry me? Then you have to die to be with me. Lily hummed, and Miss Yuan trembled all over. As if he had encountered a natural enemy, his cold expression just now turned into a pitiful look, and he glanced at her timidly with tears in his eyes. Shen Chun burst into tears and almost collapsed to the ground. He had just seen Miss Yuan's face turned against her, and was already frightened. He also heard that this female ghost was going to kill him to accompany her, and he was even more frightened. She was so frightened. Lily, please save me. Let's go back and get married when we get back. I'll ask my dad and grandpa to go to the Song family to propose marriage. Please. He finally saw clearly that Lily Song was not his best choice before. He always thought that he was still young and might meet a better Mr. Right in the future. But after experiencing such an incident, he encountered a real ghost and was haunted by a female ghost. He had no ability to exorcise ghosts. Now it seems that although he is still not satisfied with Lily, at least the female ghost is afraid of Lily. If he marries Lily, the female ghost will definitely not dare to pester him. Compared to the female ghost, living lilies are still much better. Shen Chun originally thought that he had said this. Lily would definitely be elated, but she didn't expect that. She just gave Shen Chun a cold look and suddenly laughed. Marrying you? I'm crazy. I won't marry you. I don't want to marry you. Do you understand me? These words were what Shen Chun said when he was arguing with Lily, who had just entered the mission. Now that Lily had returned it to him intact, Shen Chun was stunned for a while. At first, when Miss Yuan heard that Shen Chun said that she wanted to marry Lily, she looked like she wanted to cry or not. When she heard that Lily rejected Shen Chun, she burst into tears and smiled, and suddenly she became shy again. He stared at Shen-chan timidly. Hearing Lily's rejection, Shen-chan was so anxious that if he had known about this, why would he have done so in the first place? He must have expected this outcome. Why shouldn't he have rejected Lily in the first place? He begged Lily. The situation was completely opposite to the situation when he got along with Lily Song. Zhuang Tianming and others listened to their noise. The people from the association had already sent people to guard the back door of the house. When the rotten and damaged back door was opened from the inside, the people guarding outside almost cried with joy. It had been more than 10 days, and there was no movement in Sun's house. When the people from the association discovered something was wrong the next day, they called Zhuang Tianming and others, but the phone could not get through. By the third day, the association's people began to notice something was wrong. No matter how big the house was, it would not be impossible to get out for 2 or 3 days. After all, so many people went in, and it was not normal for no one to come out. So everyone hired a helicopter to check over Sun's house day and night. But there was no trace of these people at all. Infrared surveys could only find that the number of targets with signs of life was decreasing one by one. As a last resort, the people in the association were afraid that something would happen, so they reported the matter to the Chu family, and borrowed 20 special soldiers from the Chu family to enter the ancient house. But something strange happened again. After these soldiers entered the ancient house, he died inside within 2 days. The people borrowed by the Chu family are not ordinary people, and it is impossible for them to get into trouble so easily. Even if they encounter terrorists, these soldiers will not be killed all at once. People from the association do not dare to enter again due to fear. Everyone during the meeting, everyone turned pale with fear when they thought of the legend of a ghost in this ancient house. The association was in big trouble this time. If the dozens of people who entered, plus the 20 soldiers, were all trapped inside, nearly 100 people would have died. Everyone was in great chaos, but during this period there were only a few. However, this vital sign has always existed. The people in the association were hesitant to block the news at first. Later, they were ready to recruit more truly capable people to go inside and investigate again. Unexpectedly, those real experts didn't even bother to deal with people from the association. No matter how they invited them this time, those capable people thought that the association was just bragging and refused to come forward at all. The people of the association were so anxious that they felt like they were on a hot pot of ants. In the end, the matter could no longer be concealed, and everyone in the Chu family was alarmed. The grandson of the Chu family, who was said to be General Chu's favorite, came to sit in person this time. Unexpectedly, Lily and others came out. When they heard the sound of the door opening, everyone thought they were hallucinating for the first time, until a few people came out. The man wearing glasses in the association almost cried with joy. You are finally back. Something happened and I was delayed for some time inside. Lily nodded. She completed the task this time. She was very tired, but she still had a lot of things to do. She agreed to Lee's request. If someone wants to send them into reincarnation, this matter must be done. She doesn't like to make promises to others, but once she speaks her words, they must come true. Lily felt pity for Ms. Lee's miserable end and didn't want to see her disappear, so she decided to help her with this favor. She still had something to do at the moment. When Zhuang Tianming and others saw the dense crowd outside, they suddenly felt relaxed as they returned to the human world. Except for Lily, Shen-chan and the other 3 people who survived had already been forcibly supporting them. Negative emotions such as fear, despair, and hunger often plagued everyone in the ancient house, and they could no longer bear it. At this time, after he was truly safe, he breathed a sigh of relief. As soon as he stepped out of the gate of Sun's house, he lost consciousness and passed out. As soon as they fell asleep, everyone surrounded Lily. How did you survive? What happened inside? Many microphones were stretched out in front of Lily, and several reporters rushed to grab them. The microphone almost hit Lily's face, but she calmly took one of the microphones and blocked the microphone that was extended again. "Stay away." Her cold voice came through the microphone. Everyone looked at her like this and were stunned for a moment. They instinctively took 2 steps back and did not dare to gather around again. However, thinking that the people from the association had made the matter too big this time, in the end, there was no way to end it. After all, there were so many people inside. No matter how much the news was blocked, the news could not be suppressed. Some people still asked, "Where are the others?" Quiet Lily frowned and shouted softly. Obviously she was not very old, nor was she very majestic, but as soon as she said these words, no one present dared to speak out. Lily saw so many people at the scene. If she didn't speak clearly, she might not be able to leave. In order not to waste any more time, she prepared to make a quick decision. "Come one by one. Each person can ask no more than one question. If you have more questions, don't ask me again." When everyone heard her words, they looked at each other, hesitated for a moment, and discussed for a while. After a long while, someone finally spoke first. "Ms. Song, the total number of people who entered this time including the TV station was 57. In the end, only 4 of you were left. Where are the others?" "Dead." Next one. Lily finished speaking concisely, choking the questioner until he rolled his eyes. The reporter was unwilling to speak and wanted to speak. Lily gave him a cold look, and he shrank his head in fear. Soon someone next to me said, "How did they die?" "Death caused by ghosts." People who heard these words began to feel a little bit sick. After the founding of the People's Republic of China, it was clear that ghosts and other plots were no longer allowed to appear in movies. If it was on news programs, various TV stations told audiences across the country that this ancient house was the members of the association who entered the expedition died at the hands of ghosts. I am afraid that without the boss getting angry, the people will have to throw rotten eggs at them. What kind of ghost is it? When someone asked this question, the people around him fell silent. These people, just like Shenchun back then, did not believe in the existence of ghosts at all. They were more inclined to believe that the people inside were killed for some reason. Maybe the 4 people in front of them are the murderers, but they just made up a theory to deceive everyone for some unknown reason. To be continued. Cannon Fodder Strategy. Author, Juan ERWR. Chapter 1223. If you want to know what kind of ghost it is, you can go in and see for yourself. Lily didn't bother to argue with these people, and answered several questions in a row. Everyone couldn't ask any more questions, so they fell into a silence. At this time, someone suddenly shouted, "Mr. Chu is here." When everyone heard this, they all hurriedly got out of the way. Among the footsteps, someone was still unwilling to give in. "Miss Song, how can you prove that there are really ghosts in this world and they have killed so many people?" Woolen cloth. As soon as he said these words, everyone's bodies that had been avoiding him were stunned, and their eyes fell on Lily, wanting to see Lily's answer. But Lily laughed. "Proof? I said, go in and see for yourselves. Don't you understand everything?" Her words made a group of people speechless. So many people died in the ancient house. So many went in, and only a few came out. Not even a group of special soldiers survived. How could anyone dare to go in? For a while, no one dared to say anything anymore. In this case, Lily naturally thought that these people had finished asking questions. She glanced at those people holding cameras. These people did not want to broadcast the incredible news just now. Likewise, she did not want to let these people know at all. People played back what they just said and told them those things, which was purely equivalent to indirectly answering the questions of the people in the association. Now that the words were answered, Lily made seals with her hands. Something that frightened everyone happened. She quickly gathered several bolts of lightning in her palms and ran toward the cameras like a dragon with its teeth and claws. The man carrying the camera was startled and instinctively threw his things and jumped back. The next moment, lightning struck the machines. The machine made a sizzling sound of electricity, and several cameras were completely destroyed in the sound. Lily put her hand away and glanced at these people's faces. Compensate those who seek the association. The sight of lightning appearing out of thin air is really surprising. As a result, many people cannot come back to their senses at all. The people in the association looked at the scene in front of them, their mouths wide open and speechless. It's amazing, when the scene was completely silent, a man wearing camouflage uniforms came in from the passage that everyone had left earlier. "Miss Song, my grandfather wants to meet you. I want to ask you some opinions about this ancient house. The Chu family has acquired the property rights of the entire ancient house. Mr. Chu wants to settle here in the future. The Yunyang government is very welcoming of this. However, both the authorities and the Chu family are afraid that something will happen to the house, so the Chu family, it is understandable to want to know some news about the ancient house from the survivors." The man with the shaved hair had a cold expression and his lips were pursed tightly. "Hold out your hand to her." He had handsome features but a cold temperament, and a pair of eye-catching peach blossom-like eyes. Lily's heart moved, and she tentatively leaned towards the man. She stretched out her hand, and the man called Mr. Chu looked at him. When she made a move, she didn't take her hand back yet. Lily had already grasped his palm. Both of them paused for a moment, and the man looked down at her, his eyes uncertain, but he instinctively held her tight. The vehicle had been prepared long ago, and with the guidance of the Chu family, no other reporters dared to surround him. As for the remaining mess, of course, the people from the association were responsible for cleaning up the aftermath. Ever since something happened to the Chu family's house, the Chu family has rushed to Yunyang, and Mr. Chu is now temporarily living in a courtyard secretly planned by the government. A lot of people were already waiting in the courtyard. She told what happened in the ancient house this time. He also talked about the circumstances of everyone's death. Everyone had heard about this ancient house, but most of them were passed down from generation to generation by the people who originally lived in Yunyang. Many legends have long lost the truth of the matter, and it was only now that the truth about the Sun Mansion was revealed. Since Miss Song said so, there should be no impact if we touch that house again in the future. A middle-aged man asked cautiously, and Lily shook her head. "It doesn't matter. Now the ghost inside has been taken away by me. The feng shui of the address originally chosen by the Sun Mansion was not bad, but it was just such an advantage. In the end, due to the vicious hearts of Sun Daihai, Huang, and others, it became a place where Yin Qi focused." Everyone asked several questions in succession, and finally someone came in and whispered a few words into the ear of Mr. Chu, who had been silent all this time. Others couldn't hear these words clearly, but Lily heard them clearly. It was said that Zhuang Tianming and others had woken up, and Shen Chun was shouting like a madman to Ghost get away, which presumably confirmed what she said. In the end, the Chu family sent her away without even telling her not to tell such things to the outside world. "I'll give it away." The young man who first picked up Lily was sitting in the house with his legs crossed. When he heard the middle-aged man saying that he wanted to give Lily away, he stood up. Everyone looked at him in surprise. He was not very enthusiastic. It was rare to see him take the initiative to say that he wanted to give it away. The middle-aged man nodded. When he left the yard, before the man could say anything, his cell phone rang in his pocket. He frowned and took it out. Lily glanced at him and said goodbye. "The vehicle is ready. If the two of them are destined, they will meet again sooner or later." She was also anxious to rush home to liberate these lonely ghosts. These ghosts who should not exist in the human world have actually already gone to the underworld. When Lily returned home, The elders in the family breathed a sigh of relief. When they knew that Shen Chun was not dead yet, the Shen family members went back very happily. After returning from this trip, everyone in the family noticed that Lily seemed to have changed a bit. She seemed to have calmed down a lot, but everyone in the family just thought that she was going out this time and her temperament had changed after surviving a disaster. The news that as many as 10 people died during the Yunyang Ancient House expedition has long been spread in the country. However, in order to control the impact, the authorities finally reported only a dozen people dead. The motivation of the deceased people to enter the ancient house this time has changed from an association to a group of people venturing into the restricted area and encountering an accident. People who knew about it were silent and did not dare to tell the truth. Lily came back and rested for a day. When she had recovered her spirits, she took advantage of the elders in the family to take a rest and left home with the talisman that sealed Li and others. The countryside is not as densely populated as the city. She released the ghosts of the Li family and the Sun family. Today, the Li family has no resentment and looks gentle and calm. However, the ghost of the Sun family always looks timid and a little ashamed when looking at her. Okay. Tonight I will ask the underworld soldiers to come and take you away. Lily has already used talisman paper to form a spirit gathering array on the ground. After all, her time to learn spells is still too short. The spiritual energy is getting thinner year by year, and she also needs to use the power of the talisman. Only then can the door to the underworld be opened. Mrs. Li bowed to Lily Fu from afar, but among the ghosts, Sun Daihai hesitated for a moment, but still knelt down to Mrs. Li. Madam, I. After so many years, the nightmares day after day had actually tortured him a lot as a ghost, and now he was finally free, even though he knew he would still be punished after going to the underworld. But now Sun Daihai still lacks an apology from Li. It was my fault at first, madam, I can't help you. He started to speak, and the ghosts of Sun Mansion also started to kneel down one after another. After death, people will always recall everything about their previous life, just like a dream, and now they are awakening from a big dream. Thinking of what happened back then, many people felt guilty and begged Mrs. Li for forgiveness. Li's lips moved, but in the end she still closed her eyes. You don't need to apologize to me. She had already taken back everything she owed her, and holding on to the memories of the past, her resentment could never be eliminated. It's better to leave the Sun family behind and stop thinking about the past. These few words seemed to take all Li's strength. People from the Sun Mansion harmed her. But all the people in the Sun Mansion died in her hands, and she was able to get her revenge. This entanglement that has been entangled for hundreds of years has now been resolved. Although the Li family has taken revenge. But she didn't want to have anything to do with the Sun family anymore. Lily glanced at Mrs. Li after losing her resentment. Ms. Li is so kind that it makes people feel heartbroken. Sometimes tolerance is harder than hatred. The gate to the underworld is opened at my request. A crack appeared out of thin air on the ground, and a brown-red light emerged from the ground. A group of Yin soldiers walked out of the ground and slowly saluted Lily. Shangxian, since the Qing dynasty, fewer and fewer people can open the underworld. Lily's body faintly reveals the authentic spiritual power of the Taoist sect, which happens to be the best thing to restrain Yin evil. Even the Yin soldiers are a little frightened when they see it. You can take these lonely souls back to the underworld. Lily pointed to the group of people from the Sun family, saw the Yin soldiers nodded, and then turned her eyes to Li. As for this lady, although she has committed murderous crimes, but it is also excusable. I know that the King of Hell is fair in dealing with things, but the law is nothing more than human kindness. I also ask you to help me and send a message to the King of Hell. Please be dealt with lightly. As she spoke, she took out the incense candle paper money that she had prepared early from the package she carried with her, and lit it with the true fire of samadhi. Since Yin Bing was controlled by her Tao Te Ching and now he accepted the paper money she burned, he naturally nodded his head. These people from the Sun Mansion have been dead for many years, but because of the climate of Li's success, people from the underworld can't come to seduce their souls. It has become a headache for the underworld. Unexpectedly, the Li family has been subdued now, and it has troubled the underworld for hundreds of years. The Sun family was completely brought to justice. Everyone followed the Yin soldiers into the underworld one after another, even people from the association entered one after another. However, Li came to the end. When the Yin soldiers urged her to leave quickly, she stood still. A Yin soldier said angrily, "Ms. Li, you are so bold, don't stay in the human world any longer." Thank you very much for your help, girl. I have nothing to repay in this life. I only hope that my benefactor will have a smooth and safe future." After she finished speaking, tears filled her eyelashes. She knelt down and kowtowed 3 times before getting up and following Yin. The soldiers left. Lily watched Li's figure follow the Yin soldiers into the underworld. The door to the underworld was closed again. The place that was bustling just now was now filled with only a pile of unburned paper money. The surroundings were deserted. She sighed. When he was about to lower his head and burn the remaining paper money, a male voice rang out, "I went to see the Song family. You are not here, but I hid here to see you off." Lily turned her head to look, and saw Mr. Naku standing with his arms folded. About 7 or 8 meters away from her, he stared at her with a smile. "I said goodbye last time, but I didn't expect that it would actually be goodbye after only a few days." The next morning, Shen-chan was sent home. As soon as he came back, he clamored for his parents to propose marriage to Lily, saying that only Lily could save him because he was haunted by a female ghost. When Mingming went to Yunyang, Chen-chan kept saying that he would never marry Lily, and even ran away from home to avoid Lily. His parents and elders called him several times to ask him to come back, but they still refused to come back. Unexpectedly, he was very kind-hearted after going out. Changed, Shen's father and Shen's mother didn't know what kind of medicine he was selling in his gourd, but Shen-chan's grandfather found that something was wrong with his grandson. He had a strong yin energy, and there was indeed something unclean about him, but Shen-chan grandfather Chun was not good enough and could not drive Miss Yuen away. He also heard from Shen-chan that Lily could save him, so the Shen family ignored the discussion. When they came to the Song family to propose marriage, Song's father said that Lily was not up yet. Everyone knocked on Lily's door. It was a naked man knocking on the door, and everyone was shocked. When he was able to marry Lily Song, Chen-chan dismissed her, but now he begged to marry her, but it was not his turn. Lily had no intention of driving Miss Yuen away for Shen-chan. She only said, "A gentleman has the beauty of adulthood." Miss Yuen was infatuated with him. It made no sense in the plot that Shen-chan could accept Miss Yuen who was possessed by Lily Song, and he would accept it in this life. There is no more Miss Yuen who is not possessed. Since he was sorry to Lily Song at the beginning, now he deserves to be punished by letting Miss Yuen haunt him for the rest of his life. To be continued. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Cannon Fodder Strategy. Author, Wan Erwr. Chapter 1224. When she returned to the starry sky, Lily felt a little heavy. I don't know if it was a coincidence or because she was thinking too much. The chance of her meeting Li Yangzi was greatly increased, but Li Yangzi had promised to find a way to bring him back to the starry sky. He said nothing more about what Zhongxi said. When she met Li Yangzi again this time, Lily asked him, but he didn't say much. Instead, he stared at her for a long time with a look that made Lily feel slightly panicked, and finally shook his head. That kind of gaze gave Lily an indescribable feeling, as if she was hesitant to speak, but also seemed to be reluctant to leave her. She sighed, and her attribute values appeared again in the starry sky. Gender, female, variable. Name, Lily. Age, 21. Intelligence, 90, out of 100. Appearance, 95, out of 100. Physical strength, 90, full score of 100. Force, 97, out of 100. Spirit, 91, out of 100. Reputation, 21, out of 100 points. Skills, 9 Yang Manual, 9 Yin Manual, Heaven and Earth Gate Tao Te Ching, Zone, Southern Territory Gu Technique, Star Body Training Technique. Specialties, Advanced Cooking Skills, Advanced Acting Skills, 5 Elements and Bagua Skills, Proficient, B Control Skills, Netherworld Power. Charisma, 60, out of 100. Mark, Royal True Dragon Spirit. The shadow in Lily's heart suddenly appeared as the attribute values appeared, and her eyes suddenly widened. She saw a ghost power inexplicably appeared in the column of her specialties. She quickly thought of the connection with this mission. Because he broke the mystery of the ancient house, he helped Mr. Lee at the critical moment. And the matter of freeing Sun Mansion. Not only did his reputation increase significantly, but something like this suddenly appeared. Knowing that the word Netherworld must be related to the Ghost Clan, she suppressed the gloom in her heart and prepared to enter the mission. I hope she can feel better about the use of this so-called power of the Netherworld in the next mission. As for Li Yangzi, there must be a way for the car to reach the mountain. He didn't say anything at this time. There will come a day when he will no longer be able to hide it. This time Interstellar Karen Company has launched a new online game, which is known as the collaboration between Professor Wu. On the screen, a young man with a cold and handsome appearance opened his mouth and said a long list of names. Lily squinted her eyes and had just entered the task. The spirit has not yet fully recovered, and the expression seems a bit lazy. The young man was obviously used to keeping everything under his control. Seeing Lily's appearance, he frowned. The authorities have issued a secret notice to me. This online game contains secret techniques that can target the limits of the human body. Once entering the game stimulates people's physical functions, that is to say. Once you level up in the game, it is equivalent to your strength increasing in reality, and the game is very likely to randomly trigger some unknown secrets, and maybe there are the existence of superpowers means that once the game is launched, a large number of masters above level 8 will enter. Lily, did you hear what I said? The young man saw that Lily didn't respond for a long time, but looked cold and indifferent, and finally couldn't hold it back and raised his eyebrows. Asked. Lily's head swelled slightly. As soon as she opened her eyes, she heard the young man chattering non-stop. She endured the discomfort caused by the swelling of her head, stretched out her hand and rubbed her head. Go on. Humph. The young man pursed his lips tightly when he saw her like this, because this game is special. Hundreds of thousands of people from all over the galaxy will participate. I have sent someone to send a game warehouse to your place. Just check it yourself. Having said this, the young man paused. I want to remind you that everything has its pros and cons, although you can understand the state in the game, but similarly, if you offend your enemy in the game and suffer severe damage to your brain and mental strength, you will also be affected in real life. So in order to avoid such a situation, we are going to organize a team. Once you enter the game, come and see us. After the young man said this, he said no more. The large electronic screen flashed, and the young man's figure quickly disappeared in the large screen of light. Once the young man's figure disappeared, Lily closed her eyes and relaxed her body, then leaned back on the chair. Above the star territory, Professor Wu, a famous 9th-level powerhouse, and the Karen Company, the first interstellar tycoon, developed the game Interstellar Overlord. The game is the result of hundreds of years of research by many venerables in the Interstellar, and finally under the research of Professor Wu and the elites of Karen Company, the research was finally completed in Interstellar 6076. It is said that entering the game is equivalent to everyone's second small world, where there are massacres, opportunities, breakthroughs, and many unexpected things. Everyone in the Star Territory respects their strength. Once they knew that the Star Overlord game released by Callan Company this time could break through the boundaries of their own strength, the game warehouse launched by Callan Company immediately attracted the attention of the entire Starfield. Tong Bei was born into a military family. Her father was a commander in the military department of the Helen Interstellar Alliance, and his strength was a 7th-level warrior. The Tong family was very powerful. When Tong Bei was 18 years old, she made a marriage contract with the 5th cultivator of the 5th family, agreeing that they would get married when they were 30. The starfield outside the Earth is not only technologically advanced, but also has much higher values than the Earth. The lifespan of human beings is also much longer than that of ordinary people on the Earth. Almost all humans in the starfield practice martial arts, and their martial arts are worth different levels. Classified, the average age is around 300 years old. The higher the level, the human lifespan will break through the limit again. It is said that warriors who have reached the 10th level or above can live to 1,000 years old. It's just that the 9th level warrior is already a phoenix, let alone the 10th level warrior. The 5th cultivator is 2 years older than Tong Bei. Tong Bei is already 23. The 5th cultivator is 25 years old, but he is already a 5th level warrior. At this age, the 5th cultivator is not only the most valued member of the 5th family. He is also the heir apparent to the Helen Interstellar Alliance as a general candidate. He has already commanded a battleship at a young age. He is committed to breaking through his own limits and striving to reach the level of a 6th level warrior before the age of 40. Every time a warrior advances to a level, it is extremely difficult to advance. Therefore, after Callan Company launched this game, the always indifferent 5th cultivator was also very excited and invited Tong Bei to join the game with a group of friends who grew up together and now hold important positions in the alliance. When Tong Bei entered the game, she was only 23 years old. Although she could not match the cultivation speed of the 5th cultivation, she was already considered a quasi-4th level warrior, and she was already considered a super strong person among her age. In the early stages of the game, several game helmets fell to the Earth during transportation. An ordinary girl on the ancient Earth picked up such a helmet and entered such a world. She accidentally met the 5th cultivator and others in this world, and practiced with them. At first, Tong Bei was confident in her fiancé's loyalty to her, and treated the girl as a sister. Unexpectedly, in the end, her fiancé fell in love with her. This unique girl. The girl got all the adventures in the game. Although her strength was not as good as those outside the starfield due to physical inheritance, and she had no way to practice those things, the 5th cultivator and others gave her the best equipment and she suffered from the game. Favor always gets many hidden tasks and rare rewards, making him an indispensable talent in the team. The 5th cultivator spent more and more time alone with her. Lily Tong almost didn't show up behind her back, or when she was alone on a mission. The two of them were a couple, but their friends kept it secret from her. By the time Lily Tong realized something was wrong, 5th cultivator had already determined that this girl was his true love and matching partner. The two families had made a marriage contract. If he broke it unilaterally, how would the Tong family be treated in the future? The most important thing is that the two have been childhood sweethearts for many years, but the result is not as good as the two people getting along with each other in the game for more than a year. After all, she was a girl from the Tong family on a developed planet, but the 5th cultivator was actually fascinated by a girl from an ordinary, backward planet who was not as good as herself in everything. What makes Tong Bei most unbelievable is that none of her friends who grew up with her told her about this. She was the last to know such news. On the day when the 5th cultivator and the girl from Earth held their wedding in the game, all the powerful people from all the families in the Star Territory who were related to the 5th family or those who grew up together attended. The scenery was endless, but Lily Tong was unwilling to accept it. He went to snatch the marriage, but was intercepted by everyone. Her mental power was severely damaged in the game, and she was unable to defeat the crowd. In the end, her mental power and brain were disabled. Even though modern technology can restore the missing limbs, it still cannot completely restore the active energy of the spirit and brain. The Tong family only announced that their mental power and brain-dead body would be eliminated. Tong Bei was unwilling to give in. She was even more unwilling. In addition to the betrayal from the fifth cultivator, the most important thing was the injury to her self-esteem. Her fiancé was robbed because she couldn't keep it, and finally the betrayal by a group of friends and the robbery. No one extended a helping hand to her, not even the fifth cultivator, the childhood sweetheart she grew up with, just watched helplessly as she fell into a desperate situation with everyone watching. It's understandable that fifth cultivator fell in love with someone else, Tong Bei, but he shouldn't deceive himself, and he should give himself a chance to compete fairly with the girl. But in the early stage, in order to protect the bud of his love, he even hid the original owner from her. What makes the original owner feel chilled is that those so-called young people actually helped him hide it. Lily opened her eyes. Wherever the original owner lost this mission, he naturally had to get up there. Since Lily Tong's wish was not to regain the fifth cultivation, then she only wanted to give it to those who had participated in the attack on the original owner and made the original owner fall into brain death. A person in this situation can recover with a hard blow, so this time, she wants to enter the game. To be continued. Canon Fodder Strategy. Author, Juan ERWR. Chapter 1225. News just came out that the man who bought her the game cabin is the fiancé of the original owner, fifth cultivator. Both of them are taciturn and good at cultivating. They don't talk too much on weekdays, although they are nominally unmarried. Husband and wife, but in fact the relationship between the two was not that close. In the end, the fifth cultivator fell in love with someone else. In fact, Lily was not surprised at all after receiving the memories. Lily clenched her fists. In Lily Tong's memory, the game cabin sent by the fifth cultivator would be delivered in a few hours. Taking advantage of this time, she began to get familiar with her body. People on the Star Territory practice spiritual power combined with martial arts, which is somewhat similar to the practice of internal strength in ancient times. However, this kind of martial arts is obviously much more scientific than internal strength, and the levels are strictly distinguished. The first 3 levels are equivalent to entry level, and those from 4 to 6 are the first level is equivalent to a middle level warrior, and the 7th to 9th levels are already high level. As for the 10th level warriors, they are already phoenix feathered existences among the stars. The original owner reached nearly the 4th level at the age of 23, and was already a genius. Unfortunately, he was wasted in the hands of everyone before he could advance to the 5th level in the game. Star Overlord, an online game produced by Callan Company, is still a game in name, but in fact it is more like a cruel survival game of survival of the fittest. There are also mobs, bosses and dungeons in the game. Each player can accumulate a certain amount of combat experience and experience points while attacking monsters. It is worth mentioning that this game is very different from the ordinary online games that Bei has known in the past. That is, if you make enemies in the game, you cannot play again without restrictions like ordinary games after being killed by your enemies. The game has a fatal protection. That is to say, once the player is seriously injured, the system will force him to leave the game. However, if the opponent is too strong, protection will not occur before the game has time. He has already been attacked. Once his mental power and the central nervous system of his brain are destroyed, it will be too late even for the game to protect him. In the plot, Lily Tong was attacked by a large number of people, and the system had no time to protect her. They are brain dead in the game. This kind of game naturally has a characteristic. Since the blows in the game can directly affect the person himself, then similarly, once injured in the game, the pain will be 100%. It is precisely because of such game rules that although most people compete for territory and power in the game, they usually do so unless they form a big feud. Otherwise, many people would just stop at the slightest point, and at most they would seriously injure someone. Some would kill someone, but they would be a minority. Once someone kills someone, they will be put on a wanted notice in the game and will be wanted by NPC soldiers in major urban areas of the game. These soldiers are approximately level 60. It is equivalent to the strength of a 5th level warrior in reality. Although the level is only average, there are many NPC soldiers in major cities, so many people in the game still dare not commit murder easily. Once the crime value is too high, it will cause the captain of the soldier to be higher than the soldier, and it is very likely to cause the arrest of some military officers with higher official positions in the main city. The higher the level of each military commander, the stronger the relative strength. The original owner had seen an announcement issued by Karen Company in his memory, to the general effect: as long as the crime value exceeds the soldier pursuit value, it is very likely to cause the city lord to pursue him. The strength of each city lord in the main city is equivalent to that of a 9th level warrior. Once a 9th level warrior takes action, few criminals can escape. Once caught, criminals will be forced to stay in the prison in the main city of the game for a certain number of years. The so-called years depends on the crime value. This 10-year stay means that during this period, the mental power is locked. Not being able to leave the game warehouse and not being able to contact the outside world can be said to be a great torture. But similarly, as long as the player's strength is higher than that of a 9th level warrior, it is possible to defeat the city lord, seize the main city, and formulate new rules. The game is divided into major categories such as elves, humans, orcs, vampires, and ghosts. Each category has an overlord. There are thousands of large and small main cities among different races, and the kings of these races are called emperors. The strength of the emperor is unknown. Theoretically, the emperor can also be captured. But at least in the plot, before Lily Tong died, there were very few people who even captured the main city and became the city lord, let alone defeated the emperor and became the co-lord of the race. To put it bluntly, this game respects the strong, so this is why the game is named Star Overlord. Lily followed Lily Tong's memory in the original plot and circulated the spiritual power in her body for several times, but soon discovered that although martial arts had appeared in the interstellar world, compared to physical training, the martial arts in this world were obviously it's more than a step behind. The so-called inner breath technique for cultivating spiritual power is not as good as the 9 Yang manual, let alone the Tao Te Ching. When she first got the Tao Te Ching, Lily only thought it was a book about catching demons. But since she received the gift from Rong Li, the Tao Te Ching is more like a code of cultivating immortals to her. Some of the books in it were previously obscure and difficult to understand. Things are gradually becoming clear now, and when used in combination with physical training, it is even more effective with half the effort. This is the original owner's room. Even if someone comes, if she doesn't answer, it's impossible for someone to break in suddenly. Thinking of this, Lily directly stood up and did some physical exercises. As soon as the 2 rounds of physical training were completed, the spiritual power in Lily's body continued to rise. It was far better than what Lily Tong had practiced for 1 or 2 months before. The original owner was already a quasi 4th level existence. Once the spiritual power in her body was abundant, she was very good. She successfully reached the 4th level, and there was a knock on the door at the same time. It was the 5th cultivator who bought the game cabin for her and finally delivered it. Because of the special nature of the online game Star Overlord, once the game cabin was launched, it became a sought-after item in all major star regions. The Tong family received the news later than the 5th family, so although the Tong family also ordered a game cabin, but it was not delivered at this time. The game cabin assigned by 5th Cultivation Base Tongbei arrived one step ahead. The appearance of this thing is similar to the things that Lily saw during interstellar missions that can be connected to the interstellar network. The appearance is made of liquid gold, with crystallized glass on top, which is extremely hard. After the person who transported the game cabin moved the game cabin into the house and installed it, Lily went back to the house and took a shower. When she came out, she lay down in the game cabin. The transparent crystallized glass on the game cabin slowly fell down. She covered it, and the next moment her vision went dark, and her body flew up as if uncontrollably. In front of her was the vast and mysterious Milky Way, and in the dark night sky, planets of all sizes were like stars, shining with silver light. The host has been bound. Scan for identity verification. A mechanical female voice sounded in Lily's ear, and then there was a shaking feeling around Lily, accompanied by a click-click sound, as if the old mechanical gears were turning. It made Lily feel as if she was driving an extremely dangerous battleship under the starry sky. The stars around her quickly receded in front of her eyes, and she seemed to be moving forward rapidly. People in the interstellar space spent a lot of time riding light-speed spaceships, but at that time, most of them, whether they were spaceships, battleships, or mechas, did not feel like they do now, as if they were floating alone in the starry sky and seemed to fall down the next moment. Lily seemed to be ejected out of the Milky Way by something forcefully. She felt weightless. She could hear the wind in her ears, her own heartbeat, and the sound of her blood flowing. The stinging feeling when the wind blew on her face was also audible. Still, this game is indeed very realistic. She couldn't help but think of the time during her mission to become Hua Lily. In order to escape from the Camilla galaxy, she took a spaceship built by a man who called himself Camilla. The spacecraft fell apart while jumping into a black hole. Feeling out of control, Lily quickly calmed down and stopped panicking. In fact, this is the first level test of the game. In the plot, when Tongbei entered the game, she was shocked by the experience after entering the game, and she was extremely panicked when she landed. Therefore, in the subsequent system evaluation attribute values, her all attribute values were affected, resulting in him falling behind in the game. The attribute value of the Star Overlord game launched by Callan Company this time is very rare, and the level of this attribute value indirectly determines whether you start later than others in the game. Just like the so-called showdown between geniuses and mediocre people in real life, even if the data is only 1 or 2 points off, it will be extremely difficult to make up for it later. It is said that the test at the beginning of the game caused great losses to many people who entered the game for the first time in StarCraft, resulting in numerous complaints on the StarCraft network later. Once Lily calmed down, no matter how the surrounding stars changed, or even later when she felt her body falling straight down, as if she was about to fall into the stars and fall into the universe and become space junk, Lily was not worried. These are just judgments made by the human brain after being stimulated, and they are not real. Her willpower is extremely strong, and she allows the game to speed up. Later, she finds herself breaking through the clouds and passing through the intersection of light and darkness. She didn't even frown when it fell down with a swish sound. The speed of her fall stopped suddenly, and the female voice that had sounded in her ears appeared again out of thin air. Tongbei, age, 23, Comprehensive Potential Assessment, SS level. A woman wearing a white combat uniform appeared out of thin air in front of Lily. The clothes outlined her graceful body curves, with big breasts, a slim waist, and round hips. Her appearance was carefully designed by people from the Callan Company, and would be accepted by all interstellar men, women, and children. Neutral facial features. The woman stepped on a halo of light and stared at Lily with some curiosity. Adventurer, your courage, intelligence, and calmness all surprise me. To be continued. Canon Fodder Strategy. Author, Juan ERWR. Chapter 1226. This so-called SS level is equivalent to a talent. In future games, whether you upgrade or do anything, you will get unexpected benefits. There are very few people in the game who can get a comprehensive potential evaluation of S level or above. Even the 5th cultivation, as far as Lily Tong knows, is just an A+. Tongbei barely got a grade evaluation at that time, which is already very rare in the game. Scanning retina, successful. Scanning DNA, successful. After showing a human expression, the woman quickly became serious and cold again. Lily stood quietly, naked in front of the woman, until everything after scanning, she had already bound her account, and the woman smiled slightly. "Thank you for waiting, please select your race." On the screen, various race options such as elves, humans, and vampires are listed side by side. Each race in the game has different attribute value bonuses and talent skills. For example, most elves choose the profession of archer. And because of the special nature of this race, the agility will be higher than that of ordinary races. The human race is good at intelligence and spiritual power, and most of the people chosen are mages. As for the vampire's talent skill, which is good at blood-sucking, although the talent attributes are very average, one advantage of the vampire is that there is level suppression. Once the difference exceeds 5 levels or more, no matter what race, they will be suppressed to a certain extent in front of the vampire. The attribute values will be reduced to a certain extent. It is precisely because of this that many people choose the vampire in the game. Even the original owner chose the vampire. I remind you, because the system has automatically bound you, so please choose carefully. Once selected, it cannot be changed. The woman pursed her lips when she saw Lily standing still, and suddenly spoke. In the game Star Overlord, the NPC already has a certain amount of intelligence, and due to the interstellar confidentiality principle, once the game company releases the game, it cannot change any data in the game. And there is no right to spy on everything that happens in the game. This is a decision made to ensure that many powerful people do not want others to know their true identities after entering the game. Therefore, after the NPC in the game becomes intelligent, people from the game company are not allowed to intervene for any purpose unless it causes devastating harm to the entire game. The leading NPCs in the game have a certain level of intelligence. They are equivalent to different independent individuals, but they live in another world. They can make any decisions about the characters in the game based on their own preferences. Say anything. In Tongbei's memory, there have been players who were seriously injured after being teased by NPCs. When they complained to Karen Company, the company ignored them in the end. In the future, Starlaw will also have a tacit attitude towards this. The game originally adopts the method of survival of the fittest. This so-called elimination is more than equivalent to players being eliminated by players. At the same time, it is also possible for players to be eliminated by NPCs. Similarly, NPCs will also guard against players. Once an intelligent NPC dies at the hands of a player, it can no longer be copied. For example, a player receives a series of tasks from an NPC. If the NPC dies at the hands of someone before the task is completed, then the task is destined to never be completed. At this moment Lily was reminded by the woman, and her eyes swept around the profession in front of her. At first glance, the human race seems to be less advantageous than other races, but the human race has one advantage, and that is that the intelligence and mental strength values are higher than those of other professions. He is very good at practicing magic. Lily was going to choose a mage profession with high attack power and high lethality, so she chose directly. Human mage. The woman smiled slightly and nodded. Okay, she was still smiling and nodding just a moment ago. The next moment, her expression changed slightly, and Lily was enveloped in golden light. The beautiful woman in combat uniform opposite was so anxious that she almost jumped. When the light on Lily dissipated, she had already put on a black magic robe embroidered with silver thread. Lily's eyebrows suddenly rose, and the intelligent NPC was also at a loss. Each race in the game has a new novice costume. This novice costume can be understood as an auxiliary combat uniform with certain defensive functions. In Tong Lily's memory, the novice robe of the human mage should be silver white, but the novice robe on Lily's body but the robe turned black, and with a thought in her mind, her personal panel appeared in front of her. Name: undecided. Race: human race, ghost race. Occupation: dark magician. Intelligence: 75. Magic: 96. Specialties: skill. Seal: power of the netherworld. There are almost all question marks below. This is because you haven't entered the game world yet and you need to slowly explore everything by yourself. The benefits of each profession in Star Overlord are only the specialties of innate skills. For example, the vampire can suck blood, and the spirit tribe can have basic archery skills. It is slightly more difficult to choose a mage in the early stage, and no professional skills can be created out of thin air. It does not appear, but it needs to be explored by oneself or it needs to be created by oneself. Therefore, both mages and priests need to be cultivated by a certain amount of power in the early stage, and they will not show their specialties until the later stage. However, due to the particularity of the game, many people in the early stage focused on improving their own strength after entering the game instead of spending time cultivating others. Therefore, there were very few mages in the early stage. Lily had already been mentally prepared when she chose the profession of mage, so when she saw question marks in the specialties and skills column, she was not surprised. What surprised her and the NPC at the same time was that hidden races appear. When she chose the human race, the word ghost race also appeared in the column where she wanted to hide her race. There are people with hidden races in the game, but they are very few. Generally, one has to be extremely lucky to get this hidden race among 1 in a billion people. But when Lily saw the words power of the netherworld that she had been sealed, she suddenly understood. The reason why she got the hidden race this time was probably not because of her extreme luck, but probably because of it. In the previous mission, because she saved the Lee family and everyone in the Sun family, she got a special specialty of power of the netherworld, so she chose the human race at this time. After the game system detected some energy, so such a thing is automatically generated. Oh my God, you are so lucky. Congratulations. You are the first special hidden race in China so far. After the beautiful woman was surprised, she quickly came back to her senses and happily said to Lily, I heard that there are people in the netherworld and polar regions. Among them, there is a kind of flower from the other side, which is very beautiful. One day, can you please collect such a special flower for me from the Lord of the Netherworld? Unexpectedly, the special mission came before I even entered the game. Lily curled her lips. This so-called flower of the other side is a legendary flower derived from the Nether Lord who lives in the Nether Pole in the game with his own nether power. However, later in the game, people from Callan Company came to later, in the promotional pictures of the Ghost Clan, we saw the back of the Lord of the Netherworld holding the bright red bouquet, but no one had ever seen what the real flower of the other side looked like. But now the tasks are coming, and if you don't take them, it's a waste. Lily nodded. Sure. That's great. The person I like, Mr. Zhao, happens to be a member of the Ghost Clan. If I confess my love to him after getting the flowers, I will definitely succeed. I really hope that day can come sooner. He looked calm and mature just now. The woman smiled sweetly at this time. Lily's brows twitched, and she quickly tilted her head. You are so generous. In order to thank you for your courage, I wish you good luck in the game. Please confirm your game nickname. After the woman was very stingy and only sent a blessing, her expression quickly returned to a serious and calm look, and Lily said without hesitation, Queen. It's a coincidence that she once gave herself the codename Queen when she registered as a bounty hunter on an interstellar mission. As a result, during this mission, Tongbei changed her in-game nickname from the original plot because of her cold and arrogant temperament. She was also called Queen. Since Lily fulfilled her wish, she naturally adopted her nickname without changing it. Okay, the woman nodded, and the next moment she waved her hand, and soon the fog filled the air in front of Lily. As she waved her hand, the fog dispersed to both sides, and a passage appeared out of thin air. Then I wish you good luck on this journey. Joy. Lily stopped talking and plunged into the fog. The silence around her quickly turned into chaos, and she appeared in the novice village. In just a short time, the novice village was already crowded with people, and many newbies were milling around the NPCs, hoping to get some tasks from them. When Lily appeared, she still attracted a lot of people's attention. The black magic robe with floating silver edges on her body was really eye-catching. Among all the silver-white magic robes, her clothes had already attracted attention as soon as she appeared in Novice Village. Many people's eyes turned to her. Fortunately, these people have just entered the game, and they all know that in the beginning, it is a race against time to upgrade, learn skills, and obtain weapons and equipment. Many people are too busy to take care of themselves, and naturally have no time to inquire about other people's things. Everyone just thinks that you have been in the game for a while, and you just got lucky or got some quests, or you got new equipment from fighting some monsters, so after the initial freshness, many people looked away. Hey, wait a minute, Lily is not prepared to tangle with these intelligent NPCs in the novice village. These people have just entered the game designed by Callan Company and do not have a thorough understanding of the game. NPCs in the game can kill people. Can also be killed by others. It's just that those who kill people are afraid of being punished by the Star Overlord system. To be continued. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Cannon Fodder Strategy. Author, Juan ERWR. Chapter 1227. For the NPCs in the game, they are equivalent to the Aborigines of this world. They strictly abide by the laws issued by the country, race, even the city lord's mansion and villages in various places in the game, because the penalties in the game are compared to those of adventurers who enter the game. Said that the punishment for NPC will be more stringent. However, whether it is a game NPC or a human being, there will always be a few who commit crimes with bad intentions. Therefore, the NPC in the game is also very likely to kill people and then escape. This is the response after the intelligent NPC has developed intelligence. As consequence, the Aborigines are always hostile and wary of adventurers, and some are kind, but most of them are wary of the interstellar people who enter the game. Not every NPC will issue tasks. Rather than wasting time here, it would be better to take this opportunity to kill the mobs, gain some experience, and level up. In the early stages of the game, many people wasted a lot of time because they had to figure everything out on their own, and they didn't wake up until the later stages. As soon as Lily was about to leave, an NPC stopped her. Little girl, wait a minute. The person who stopped Lily was a middle-aged woman. As soon as she opened her mouth, the eyes of the people around her suddenly fell on Lily, and many people showed evil looks in their eyes. While everyone was still surrounding the NPC, suddenly the NPC took the initiative to greet Lily, which made many people very unhappy. The middle-aged woman seemed not to see the dissatisfaction in other people's eyes, and said with a smile, "My granddaughter Huan went out to play with Taizu from the Wang family next door. She hasn't come back yet. Why bother you?" asked the Wang family. "Is my granddaughter back?" As soon as she finished speaking, many people's expressions changed. Since the launch of the game, people have entered the game one after another. The NPC has not released any tasks so far. Now he actually took the initiative to drag someone into posting a mission to find someone. There are many dangers in interstellar overlord. If you are not careful, your life may be in danger. An errand mission like finding someone is the simplest. As soon as the middle-aged woman finished speaking, several team formation messages were sent to Lily. Start the team. Once you form a team in traditional games, tasks can be shared. The idea behind these people was that it was just a mission to find a girl. If they followed her, they would gain some experience, so they all joined together. Of course, in the games produced by Callan Company, whether one person completes the task alone or several people work together, there are only so many rewards. When there are more people, there will be more people to share, and there will be more monks and less rice, and not much will be obtained. Lily doesn't like to cause trouble when she first enters the game, but equally, she doesn't like someone to ask her to start a group in such a tone as if she is ordering her. Now everyone is still a newcomer, even if it makes people angry. If one person hits her, she will feel pain at most, and the damage value cannot be that high. The system will always give her time to force her to go offline, so she did not hesitate to reject a group of people and looked at the smiling microphone. Damn it, it was as if this middle-aged woman didn't realize that announcing the task to Lily in public had brought her trouble. NPCs are all intelligent, and it is impossible for this middle-aged female NPC not to know this. Lily frowned, not accepting the task that came to her door was in vain. She nodded, okay. Thank you so much, little girl. I'll thank you later. Ding. Aunt Gui promised to go to Wang's house to see if her granddaughter Huan had returned home. The system prompt sounded in Lily's ears, and at the same time, many people around her approached Lily unceremoniously. Start a group, otherwise you won't be able to get out of this village. A group of people stared at Lily maliciously, with threatening looks on their faces. Lily is just level 1, if it is level 1 in the game. The appearance will be that of a child, and as the strength increases, the body will also grow accordingly. At this time, Lily was surrounded by a group of half-sized children. These people still showed such expressions, which made her a little bit dumbfounded. In addition to being able to PK at will in the wild, players can also forcefully attack each other whether in Novice Village or the main urban area. However, once they forcefully attack others in such a place, the system will automatically judge it as provocation and cause trouble, and there will be military police. The team came and took the people away. The general punishment is to imprison them for 3 to 5 days, depending on whether the consequences are serious or not. In the early stages of the game, when everyone is competing for ranking, 3 to 5 days is already very precious to many people. Therefore, there were so many people present, even though many of them were wearing ordinary novice clothes and looking arrogant, none of them dared to attack Lily in the novice village. Lily didn't bother to talk to these people, and instead started walking around the village. Because she is new to the game, although her talent value is not low, her level is not high after all, so she is exhausted after walking a few steps. She needs to eat to regain her strength, otherwise she needs to sit on the ground and rest for a while. You can move around only after your stamina is full. Lily spent an hour walking around the entire village, roughly memorizing the location of the NPC's home in every corner of the village, and then walked towards Wang's house. Behind her was a large group of people who had been waiting for her to leave the novice village because they had been rejected by her, and now they were following her with ill intentions. When they arrived at Wang's house, Aunt Gui's granddaughter Huan and Wang Taizu were not there. A bearded man was standing at the door looking. As soon as Lily approached, the man came up to her and said, "You saw the iron pillars in my house." Obviously this was related to the mission she had received before, so this NPC took the initiative to greet her. Lily shook her head. "I was entrusted by Aunt Gui to find her granddaughter Huan. The man made a fist with one hand and punched his palm hard. "My Taizu and Huan went out to play together in the afternoon. I wonder if Xiao Yu went to Mr. Qin's house in the village." You can go to Chine for me, check it out at home. Before one mission was completed, another one was picked up. Fortunately, Lily was well prepared and had already walked around the village before coming to Wang's house. Otherwise, Wang Taizu's father would have just said Qin family at the head of the village without any clue. She would have really wasted her time. Lily rushed to Qin's house again, but the children were not there. The Qin family's parents said that some children were playing at home in the afternoon, but the village chief's son came not long after, and several children ran out and asked Lily to find them. Ask others for information. The NPCs in the game are not friendly to players. Lily asked several NPCs in succession, but they either refused to tell her, or did not know, or even told nonsense. When Lily threatened these NPCs with the name of the village chief, only then did someone reluctantly say that a few children seemed to have haunted the church in the west of the village. The people following her couldn't hold their breath, and ran with Lily for a long time. Seeing that she didn't get any benefits at all, but she ran for so long for no reason. It was even worse for everyone following her. The mission was not left undisclosed, and the delay was in vain. After a day, some people who woke up were no longer ready to waste time. They gritted their teeth, looked at Lily fiercely, turned around and left. Some of them were not convinced, and they said a few harsh words when they left. By the time all the people following Lily had left, the sun had already set slightly in the west. The church seemed deserted at the moment. 2 young apprentices in junior magic robes were cleaning the house. When Lily asked them about the children, the 2 men asked Lily to help sweep the floor and weed the grass. It was almost dark, so I said that the children had gone out to dig out birds' nests in the afternoon. After asking for the general direction, Lily went out to the village and walked around, and found a few children who were too scared to go home because of the darkness at a place about 500 meters behind the village. The children were sent back to the village chief's house, Qin's house, Wang's house, and Aunt Gui's house respectively. When they were sent back to Aunt Gui's house, she didn't know if it was because Lily had received the mission from Aunt Gui in the first place, so she hesitated. After a while, he took out a rusty dagger from home and handed it to Lily. "I don't have anything good to give you," her words made Lily curl her lips. The dagger didn't have any attribute value. It looked like it would break in a short time. Aunt Gui's words were not polite at all. "But the blacksmith has a way to polish this dagger. You should go find him." After saying that, the NPC seemed to be afraid that Lily would fall out, and hurried away with his granddaughter in his arms. Lily took the broken dagger to the blacksmith's house. The blacksmith's house was not closed at the moment. After looking at the dagger, he only said that he needed some materials to polish it again, and asked her to collect some soil from Dalan Mountain to bring back. Lily had no choice but to agree. She asked the blacksmith to borrow a map, and then left the village. After wasting a day today, she had a thought in her mind and opened the game rankings to see that the number 1 on the list was already at level 9, and among the top 10, the 5th cultivator and the original Tong Bei in the plot were all from a small group. Friends whose children grew up are also among them. She took the dagger and left the city. It was already night in the game, and the dangers in the game would be greatly increased at night. Because the game was built in a simulation, in the dark, in addition to the ghosts and vampires belonging to the race of night, the number of ghosts and vampires would increase. Beyond a certain attribute value, humans will be suppressed to a certain extent and the objects in front of them will be blurred. But I don't know if it's because Lily's hidden race is the ghost race, but she wasn't affected that much. Although the danger in the game increased after night, there were still many people hunting monsters in the fields in the dark. Although everyone heard the footsteps, they still tacitly practiced their own way. The soil that the blacksmith wants is in Dalan Mountain, which is already a level 5 dangerous area. It is not easy to upgrade in Star Overlord, especially in the early stage without weapons, equipment, and skills. The monsters are not easy to attack, so everyone is progressing. They are all very low, and there are already fewer people in level 5 places. To be continued. Cannon Fodder Strategy. Author, Juan ERWR. Chapter 1228. Occasionally, there would be several people in a team practicing, and Lily would run past them very quickly. When they reached Delan Mountain, Lily would stop. The soil requested by the blacksmith is a kind of silver soil unique to this place, which has the effect of repairing weapons. When Lily arrived at her destination, she was not in a hurry to collect the soil. Instead, she began to practice physical training. The confidentiality measures in the game have passed the confidentiality laws of all major star regions. Once the people from Callan Company make the game, apart from selling the connected game cabins and game helmets, no one has any control over the game rights, and the system also operates automatically. This is also the reason why many warriors who want to keep secrets can play with confidence in the game, but Lily has always been cautious. After all, physical training is very important to her. She has not completed the entire set of physical training, but only practiced the first few simpler postures. A large amount of spiritual power was transferred into her body, so that her body, which was not supposed to possess magic power at the first level, was suddenly filled with a large amount of magic power. Magic power should be a lower level thing than spiritual power. After discovering that he had too much magic power in his body after doing several physical training techniques, Lily immediately stopped moving. Before he could think of a way to consume the magic power, a pair of the red eyes stared at her. There was a hissing sound in the grass, and a rustling sound when the grass was crushed. When Lily turned her head to look, a yellow and green snake had already raised its upper body and stared coldly. He looked at her. This is a level 5 monster area. Snakes that can appear in the level 5 monster area can be imagined to be level 5 monsters. The snake's head was about as thick as the mouth of a bowl, and it was spitting out blood-red saliva. Revealing 2 fangs that glowed coldly, Nobuko was obviously feeling the direction and sound of her. Her lower body was submerged in the grass, and she couldn't see how long it was. But judging from the details of her body, it was not impossible for the snake to bite her and then slowly swallow her. Although being bitten by a snake may not necessarily kill her immediately, the system will most likely take her body out of the game. However, the pain and touch when being bitten or swallowed by a snake are completely real experiences. Lily does not want to feel being bitten or swallowed by the snake. The snake's body is not small. If she was competing for strength, she would choose a mage. In terms of strength, she is not as gifted as the warriors of the gods or the orcs. In addition, there is a level of suppression between the snake and her. If it is hard, if she tries hard, she may not succeed. The dagger held in Lily's hand. He was stuffed back into her arms again. She thought of the magic power in her body and suddenly remembered her Tao Te Ching. Since everything in the game is so similar to the real world, not only can she feel the pain in the game, but even breakthroughs in the game can bring endless benefits to herself in reality. She had just tested that practicing physical skills in the game was also useful. So although she had not learned any spells, she would still be able to cast the 5 thunder curses in the Tao Te Ching. I don't know if it will work. Thinking of this, Lily carefully guided the spiritual power around her body. The shallow magic power was swallowed up by the spiritual power flowing through her. As Lily directed the spiritual power to carefully flow out of her arms along the veins, zizzy amidst the sound, several purple lightning lights began to flash in her open palms. It's done. Once the 5 thunder curse could be cast, Lily breathed a sigh of relief. Before she could cast the 5 thunder curse, the system's prompt sounded in her ears. Congratulations to the Queen for her amazing understanding. She was the first to create a unique spell. Rewarded with an intelligence value of add 3. She received a special achievement, Extraordinary Talent. Please name this move. As soon as the sound of the system sounded, once the intelligence value increased, The thunder and lightning in Lily's hands suddenly became thicker than before, the higher the intelligence value. In addition to having stronger magic power, they will also be able to comprehend skills and moves much faster than those with lower intelligence in the future. Lily didn't bother to give her move any other name, she just said, 5 Thunder Curse. Congratulations to the player queen for understanding the 5 Thunder Curse. This move is unique to the queen and cannot be understood by others. Congratulations to the player queen for being the first person in the Star Overlord to create an original move and successfully name it. The system rewards 10,000 experience points and 10,000 gold coins. I wish all players a happy game. These two consecutive announcements sounded at the same time in the game Star Overlord. While many people were stunned for a moment, many people couldn't help but want to curse. Many wealthy people bought 1,000 miles of sound, invite the Queen to join the Guild Sky Alliance. The Queen is sincerely invited to join the Wolf Planet. At this time, Lily did not notice the forces that wanted to recruit her, nor did she hear that many people in the Kinley transmission were still asking how the move was created. After she got 10,000 experience points, she just said several bright lights flashed on the child's body, and she suddenly grew from a girl to an appearance of 11 or 12 years old. She was promoted to level 8, and she suddenly squeezed into the 6th place in the level list. Because of the special nature of the game, the system rewards are not high. This is also for the sake of game balance. There are certain rewards for the person who creates the first move, but the rewards are not so large that they can break the balance of the game and allow one person to dominate the game. In the game, once she reached level 8, Lily felt that her strength was much greater than before. Although she had just cast the 5 Thunder Curse and the system had spoken to her, in fact it only happened in a few breaths. The python opposite her didn't understand why the person in front of her suddenly became much bigger than before. But monsters are always monsters, and are not as intelligent as humans, so after hesitating, the python still swung its tail and moved quickly in this direction. Lily spread her hands, and lightning bolted towards the python. Amidst the sound of electric current, the 5 Thunder Curses suddenly hit the python, and the python's head was hit. If Lily was only at the first level, it might not be possible. It could kill it instantly, but at this time Lily had reached level 8 and was using spells again. Before the snake could react, half of its head was split open by lightning. The smell of burnt skin and flesh could be heard. The python was originally half of the raised body collapsed on the ground, and the body squirmed twice. The tail slapped the ground unwillingly, and soon there was no movement. Congratulations on killing the colorful python and gaining 15 experience points. The system beep came. When Lily heard this, she walked towards the snake with confidence and lifted the dead snake. She originally wanted to take out the snake's gallbladder, but the snake's skin was extremely thick, so she had to take out the snake's gallbladder. Aunt Goey got the dagger she got when she found her granddaughter, and with the help of spiritual power, she peeled off the snake skin and picked out the snake gall inside. She threw the snake gall aside and dug up the soil of Delan Mountain. When her spiritual power recovered, she lured another snake to kill it. She can kill a snake instantly with one move. Although her spiritual power can be replenished through physical training, her physical strength is a troublesome thing. After losing physical strength, she needs to replenish a certain amount of food before she can move again. When Lily came out, she was just a newcomer and had no gold coins on her, so she naturally had no money to buy food. After killing a few snakes, she found that her efficiency was too low, so I couldn't help but start thinking about the dead snake on the ground. The snake carcasses she killed were also edible. If she went back to the city to buy food, not only would it be expensive, but it would also consume her physical strength. She herself has cooking skills. Although she doesn't have them in the game, practice makes perfect. When there is no shortage of materials, using snake meat to practice her cooking skills can also replenish a certain amount of physical strength and save a lot of money. It is simply do it all in one fell swoop. The snake was already at level 5, and its skin already had a certain amount of defense and resistance. Fortunately, Lily was already at level 8. With her spiritual power in hand, she peeled off the skin much faster with the dagger. She used her spiritual power to cast the fire dragon, lit a fire, and was asked by the system. The move he performed again was named Fire Dragon. This time, because it was not the first original move, the system did not announce it to the whole server. Because Lily possesses the specialty of advanced cooking, when the first piece of snake meat was baked in the game, it was not as bad as she imagined. Although there was no salt and other condiments, it looked good. In this way, Lily dug in the mud and fought monsters while upgrading. After staying in Delan Mountain for 3 days and 3 nights, not only her cooking skills have been upgraded to a master level, but her level has also reached level 10 or above. The most important thing is, she has collected a lot of soil, even snake gall, snake skin, etc. are a lot. After level 10, you can rent a personal temporary space by paying a certain fee. Lily received a reward of 10,000 gold coins for creating the 5 Thunder Curse. Now she took 100 gold coins to rent a personal temporary space and put all these things together. After sweeping into the space, he left Delan Mountain. When we returned to the novice village, there were far fewer people here. In 3 days, everyone was trying their best to upgrade and leave the novice village. Lily was still ranked among the 10 in the original ranking list because she received system reward experience points and was promoted to level 8. However, she has been staying in Delan Mountain for the past few days. The experience brought by the level 5 colorful python is not much anymore, so she has only been promoted to 2 levels in 3 days, and the vampire fortune trick who ranks first on the list has already having reached level 19, she not only fell out of the top 10, but there was no news about her even in the top 100. The blacksmith in Novice Village was still at his home. When he saw Lily coming back, he looked a little surprised. "Adventurer, are you still alive?" Because she has been promoted 2 levels, Lily now looks a little taller. The blacksmith put down the things in his hands and wiped his hands. "I thought you wouldn't come back again." To be continued. Cannon Fodder Strategy. Author, Juan ERWR. Chapter 1229. When Lily left the newcomer village, she was only at level 1, and the soil the blacksmith wanted came from the area where level 5 monsters were. He had never thought that Lily might be alive. As soon as the words came out of his mouth, Lily just pretended not to hear them. "How much dirt do you want?" "I want 10 points." The blacksmith stretched out his hand and scratched his head, as if he wanted to ask Lily, but didn't dare to ask. "I have many adventurers here who need to repair their weapons, especially the new ones. This soil needs. The amount is very large." Lily took out 10 pieces of soil and handed it over. "Do you want more?" Of course. The blacksmith nodded, counted out a few copper coins from the bag and handed them to Lily. Lily didn't bargain with him, so she took out 10 more coins and handed them over. In 3 days, she collected probably nearly 10,000 copies. The blacksmith paid again and asked, "Are there any more?" In this way, the two of them released tasks and handed in tasks until the sun was setting slightly in the sky. Lily had already received nearly a gold coin just by handing over soil. There was no soil left in the bag. The blacksmith finally raised his hand. "Okay, adventurer, I admit defeat. Your patience and perseverance surprise and admire me." Ding. Gaining the admiration of those who forge weapons, congratulations to the Queen on her special achievement, perseverance. When the system prompt sounded, Lily ignored the payment and quickly clicked on her personal panel. She saw that her original message had changed to Talent, SS. Name, Queen. Race, Human Race, Ghost Race. Occupation, Dark Magician. Intelligence, 78. Magic. Specialties, Master Cooking, Skinning, Mining, Beginner Level. Skills, 5 Thunder Spell, Fire Dragon. Seal, Power of the Netherworld. Special Achievements, Extraordinary Talent and Perseverance. Below is a lot of detailed changes in physical strength and agility points, etc. Lily just glanced at it and looked away. She saw the column of her own magic value. The original 96 turned directly into a question mark. She guessed that it might be related to the fact that she converted magic power into physical strength with greater power, and the system could not judge. She checked her special achievements again. Being talented mainly refers to when she comprehends skills. She can comprehend the same skills better and faster than other people in the same profession, and she can display them with greater power. Talented achievements are the only things that can't be obtained again, which means that even if her number no longer exists in the future, this achievement will never be lost to others. As for perseverance, it makes Lily a little happy. This skill is more useful in some aspects than talent. It means that if she focuses on doing any one thing, her success rate and return rate will be much greater. And if she learns how to make equipment, the success rate of producing the best equipment and making equipment will be greatly increased with her familiarity with the craft. Seeing this, Lily couldn't help but think of the Earth Girl who combined with the fifth cultivator in the plot. She was the one favored by the game, and she had received a talent in the game. That is the God's blessing. As long as she has this blessing, her success rate and the probability of being the best when making equipment will also be much greater. It is similar to the persistence in Lily's current special achievement. A girl with the God's blessing will have a certain probability of making the best equipment when making it. It is because of this skill that the girl with the special blessing will later make equipment worth hundreds of thousands. Gold. It is equivalent to hundreds of thousands of federal coins, and it is still priceless. Many people befriended her in order to get the equipment from her, so when she married the fifth cultivator, she had so many people come to bless. Lily's special achievement does not depend entirely on luck like the God's blessing, but as long as she persists in doing something for a long time, the probability of making the best product is much greater. The most important thing is, God's blessing is for crafting equipment. Lily's special achievement of persistence does not refer to anything in particular. In other words, as long as she concentrates on doing anything, even if it is just mining and collecting herbs, she does it for a long time. The probability of obtaining top quality ores or top quality medicinal materials is also greatly increased. So in this comparison, if we compare the God's blessing to a genius who is loved by God, then perseverance is just a stupid bird that flies first after hard work. I heard that Pastor Brian of the church is purchasing the gallbladders of colorful pythons. The soil you got was collected from Delan Mountain, where colorful pythons are found in large numbers. If you are interested, you can go and have a look. The blacksmith purchased the soil. At that time, each copy only cost a few copper coins. This thing is not easy to get, and the price is low. Many people in the village are unwilling to collect it. In addition, this is a newcomer village, and the highest NPC level is only a dozen levels, and the NPC will also set the force value according to its profession. A beautiful python may be killed by a blacksmith alone, but it will not be possible if there are too many snakes. Usually this kind of soil is the most scarce in the shop, but today Lily brought so much when she came, and she didn't even bargain after he set the price. I wonder if the blacksmith was a little embarrassed, and suddenly told her such news. Lily nodded, collected the gold coins, and returned the map that the blacksmith had lent her. Thank you for the news. But you also know that I have a dagger given by Aunt Gui, and it has been seriously damaged. I think need to patch it up. As she spoke, she took out the dagger from her waist. After 3 days, the dagger was used by Lily to peel off the skin of the colorful python. Now the damage was indeed very serious. The blacksmith took a look and shook his head with regret. The damage is too serious. This is not a valuable thing. I have no way to repair it, but... He hesitated and said slyly, but I can teach you how to make such a dagger, but in exchange, you have to give me something in return." At this point, the blacksmith laughed. "My father once said that this craft can only be passed down from family to family. Adventurer, I know that you will leave here sooner or later, so I put forward this condition. This is because of the things you have done before. I only told you because of the silver clay collected from Delan Mountain. If it were anyone else, I wouldn't tell them." He tilted his head and glanced at Lily. "How do you think? This dagger is indeed too badly damaged. It would be best if the blacksmith was willing to teach him how to make it." Although many people learned the art of forging after half a year, it was still very rare in the early stage. Lily didn't know what the blacksmith needed. She raised her hand and a complete colorful python skeleton appeared in front of the blacksmith. "Can I use this in return?" The blacksmith's eyes lit up for a moment, as if he wanted to reach out and touch it, but he held back. "Too little, more. NPCs are all intelligent." At this moment, Lily couldn't tell that the blacksmith was trying to blackmail her. She didn't bargain with the blacksmith for the dirt before, because the dirt was originally meant to complete the task. She didn't think about using it to make money at first, so she took whatever he said. But if this NPC thinks that Lily is easy to talk to, she is wrong. What she dislikes the most is people threatening her. So she picked up the skeleton and said without even looking at the blacksmith, "If it's too little, forget it." "Hey, wait." Seeing that she was leaving, the blacksmith suddenly became anxious. He could make several sets of bows and arrows from the skeleton of this colorful python, and he might be able to sell it for a good price. The blacksmith stopped Lily and handed her a purple crystal stone with a mournful face. He stretched out his hand to hold down the skeleton and waved his hand impatiently. "You can learn this from the soul crystal. Let's go." Soul crystal is a unique memory crystal in Star Overlord. Whether it is life skills or combat skills, it is obtained by players in the form of soul crystal. Players learn to do it based on the images in the soul crystal until they are familiar with it. After that, the soul crystal disappears automatically. Lily got the soul crystal and walked out of the blacksmith shop. Thinking of the python gallbladder she had collected, she walked towards the church again. She learned alchemy from the priest in the church on the condition of half of the beautiful python gall. When the deal was completed, it was already dark in the game. Thinking that I have been in the game for 3 or 4 days, the ratio between the game and reality is said to be 5:1, which means that 5 days in the game is equivalent to 1 day in reality. Even so, Lily has been in the game for nearly a day. She is not in a hurry to upgrade, but chooses to quit the game. When she came out of the game room, her optical brain had received several messages from the 5th cultivator. Lily was not in a hurry to see it. Instead, she took a bath and asked the robot butler to bring some food. After eating, she practiced a few times of physical training. After feeling that her body was full of spiritual power, she put the 5th Shiu's message was opened. The tall figure of the 5th cultivator jumped out of the room. His tone and demeanor were still as cold as the original owner remembered. He said that he had chosen a divine warrior in the game named 5th Admiral, and after letting Lily enter the game contact him. After the light brain played the message, it became quiet. Lily practiced several rounds of physical training. I wonder if it was because her force level was close to the full point now, so after several rounds of physical training, she clearly felt her strength. After rapid growth, the original owner's strength was at the 4th level before Lily entered the mission. After Lily entered the mission, the original owner's strength was raised to the 4th level. Now she can feel it. I'm afraid it won't take a month. She will definitely be able to rise to the 4th level. Among the 5th level. After completing the last movement and guiding the spiritual energy in her body to walk twice, Lily climbed into the game cabin again. To be continued. If you like this work, you are welcome to vote for recommendations and monthly votes. Your support is my biggest motivation. Mobile phone users, please go to M to read. To be continued. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Cannon Fodder Strategy. Author, Juan ERWR. Chapter 1230. Lily has been in real life for nearly a full day, and 5 days have passed in the game. In the early stage, because due to the particularity of the game, many people who enter the game want to be the first to establish themselves as the strongest, so there are very few people offline. At this time, the first place on the ranking list has changed from level 19 to level 26. Is still the creation of the vampire clan, and the 5th admiral and others are also among the top 10, and the 5th cultivator is already at level 25. Although she did not level up in the game, Lily clearly felt that as her strength improved in real life, even if her level in the game did not change, her strength and reaction were much better. She checked her attribute values in the game. As expected, her strength and agility have been greatly improved. Although StarCraft produced by Callan Company claims to be able to 100% replicate the real experience and provide a real strength-enhancing experience in the game, it is not without fatal flaws. That is, no matter what insights are gained in the game, people who enter the game will always lie still in the game cabin, and their bodies will not get exercise if they do not move. In the end, even if the spiritual power in the body increases to a certain level, the body's own value will decrease. Such a problem had not been discovered when the original owner was brain dead in the game. I don't know when someone will discover it this time. Lily has reached level 10 and is no longer suitable to stay in the novice village. There are already far fewer people here than when she first entered the game. Most of the people have gone to Lulin Town, which is closest to the novice village. It is already a slightly larger town with more resources, and the distribution level of the surrounding monsters is approximately between level 10 and 20. Lulin Town can already start accepting some crusade missions in the town. As long as the missions are completed, reputation points can be obtained. Reputation points can be used to offset the guilt value after hurting others, and the higher the reputation point, the higher the reputation value. When facing NCP in the town, the NPC's attitude will be more friendly. The most important thing is that there are small level bosses around Lulin Town. If you are lucky, you will encounter the boss. Not only may you get rare materials, but more importantly, if you are the first to kill the boss in different areas, you have a high chance of getting a skill book. Compared with other games, the special thing about Star Overlord is that the boss in it cannot be copied, that is to say, this boss can be killed. The same refresh will not appear again until the new monster grows and forms a new boss. Even if you kill it again, you will no longer get the achievement of killing the boss for the first time in the area and the chance of having a skill book. Lily ran all the way towards Lulin Town. When she arrived in Lulin Town, it was already afternoon. The town is 1,000 times more prosperous than the village. Although it is called a town, after all, there are hundreds of thousands of people from the planet gathered in the game, so this town is actually equivalent to the size of a city. There are quite a few people inside, and some people have begun to set up street stalls in the center of the town. Many soldiers on duty were walking around the town to maintain law and order. Lily immediately bought a map near Lulin Town in the town, ran to the bulletin board and accepted all the tasks regardless of whether she could take them, and then left the town. She didn't plan to spend too much time in the town. She hadn't entered the game for a whole day and was already far behind others. She followed the directions on the map. Go to the nearest level 12 monster spot, which is the main haunt of the Green Wolf Pack. Although the Wolf Pack is not of high level, it is better because of its large number. Moreover, green wolves are social animals and usually appear in groups. A single wolf may not be too scary, but if it is a group of wolves, it will be very lethal. Because there are too many wolves here, a careful person may be injured. People with low levels would rather go to other areas that are safe and easy to level up. People with high levels no longer bother to return to this point, so the monster spot where the green wolf is located is Lily. After that, not even half a person was found. On the contrary, as soon as she stepped onto the wolf cliff where the green wolf was, a pair of green eyes stared at her. The sense of reality in the game is so strong that Lily can almost feel the swish of coldness on her back, and her hairs stand up under the sense of crisis. The sound of animals trampling on flowers and grass came from the grass. Because this is a place where wolves live, there is a unique fishy smell from animals. From time to time, Lily will step on some bones, which should be left behind when the green wolf devoured other animals. Once she was targeted by the green wolf, Lily slowed down. Her whole body was tense, and she had just taken 2 steps, as if the wolves had already judged that her level was not high. The wolves did not wait long, but instead the next moment, the wolf couldn't bear it any longer, gasping, and flew out from the grass like an arrow. The white teeth glowed with cold light in mid-air, the wolf's face was ferocious and terrifying, and the fishy wind blew out of its mouth with the wolf's open mouth. One wolf moved, and the remaining wolves naturally rushed towards Lily. What made Lily relieved was that the number of wolves in this group was not large, about a dozen, and she had already prepared 5 of them. The thunder curse immediately hit the wolf that rushed towards him first. Ouch! The wolf let out a scream, and his back was immediately torn open by the 5 thunder curse, but I don't know whether it's because the green wolf has reached level 12, or because the green wolf's skin is particularly thick. Lily only caused them to suffer flesh and blood injuries, and did not hurt their vital parts. On the contrary, the green wolf was injured. After being injured, it was extremely fierce and unabated. Seeing that the wolf's mouth was about to bite her arm, Lily saw that the 5 thunder spells were not effective against the blue wolf, so she cast the fire dragon again. Now the wolf was entangled by the fire dragon, and it suddenly burst into flames. It let out a shrill howl, and even endured the pain and bumped into Lily. There was a bang sound. This wolf's body was not small. Lily's body in the game was only about 10 years old because she was only at level 10. She was hit by this green wolf and actually flew up. The group of green wolves behind saw an opportunity. But while they were all rushing out, Lily felt a sharp pain in her leg with a wow sound, and her calf was bitten tightly by a wolf's mouth. The pain was so real that Lily's back was soaked in cold sweat. There was a fishy wind approaching beside her. Lily kicked her legs hard and used her body strength to kick away the wolf biting her leg. Temporarily safe, she remembered that her only 2 skills, Fire Dragon and 5 Thunder Spell, were not very effective against the green wolf. At this moment, she was surrounded by wolves. If she could not kill these wolves, she might be seriously injured here. Place. In the midst of lightning and flint, Lily suddenly thought of a way. Since thunder couldn't kill the wolf, but she could use the power of lightning, she summoned the water dragon according to the method of summoning the fire dragon. This is the advantage of practicing magic. The system prompts in her mind. She gained new skills, and Lily had no time to pay attention. She released the water dragon and entangled all the wolves. However, the water dragon was not very powerful. It took less than 5 seconds for the green wolves to turn into water molecules, dissipated in mid-air. However, the wolves were all soaked by the water, and they were still shaking their fur and approaching Lily. Lily immediately made a hand seal, electric shock. The sound of electricity started to sound. Starting from the nearest wolf, the power grid rushed out in all directions. The water on the wolves could conduct electricity. For a while, the wolves howled one after another. When Lily stood up, many wolves in front of her were already there. He was electrocuted to death. Congratulations on learning a new skill, please give the skill a name. Congratulations on learning a new skill, please give the skill a name. Congratulations on killing Green Wolf and gaining 26 experience points. The system's beeps kept ringing. Lily sat on the ground to recover her strength and named the 2 skills respectively. Then Lily collected all the wolf corpses. The wound on her leg needed to be treated quickly. She was not in a hurry to enter the center of the wolf cliff immediately. Instead, she took out the soul crystal that she had exchanged for the gallbladder of the colorful python and the priest when she was in the newcomer village. The lowest grade healing medicine inside happens to be made from snake gall. Lily tried 7 or 8 times in a row. After she finally succeeded, the soul crystal gradually disappeared. She crushed the elixir into powder and sprinkled it on her wound, and the wound gradually stopped bleeding. Congratulations on learning alchemy. After taking 7 or 8 elixirs in a row, the success rate was still very low at first. I am afraid that she could only succeed once or twice out of 10 times. Fortunately, Lily was quite courageous, so she was not afraid of wasting materials. When it comes to the persistence benefit of special achievements later then he came out. Lily didn't know which time she had practiced, but suddenly the system prompt sounded again. Ding! The player made the best snake gallbladder pill. Congratulations to the player queen for refining the first top quality elixir. The system rewards 1000 experience points. The god level formula, the emperor level elixir. As this system message sounded, the entire Star Overlord world exploded. Qinlichuanyan, damn it, who is this queen? 1000 miles of sound, contact the queen privately. Qinlichuanyan, spending a lot of money to buy the best elixir. Qinlichuanyan, I want to buy a royal elixir with a lot of money, please contact me as soon as possible. Qinlichuanyan. The whole game was noisy, but Lily ignored these calls at the moment. She first looked at the purple glossy elixir with faint silver stripes in her hand, and then did not hesitate. Then he crushed the elixir and applied it to the wound on his calf, regardless of the fact that the elixir had just been purchased in the game for a large amount of money. The effect of the top-grade elixir is obviously not comparable to that of ordinary elixirs. As soon as the elixir was applied, the wound that had just been open and bruised began to recover quickly. After a while, it became scarred and the pain was gone. Lily stood up and then started paying attention to the reward you got this time, the royal pill. Thanks to the fact that the game has just started, most people are immersed in leveling at this time instead of focusing on life skills, although some powerful original sects have begun to raise life skill players. But after all, the server has not been open for a long time, and these life players are generally not high level, and thanks to Lily's persistence, she was lucky enough to obtain the first achievement of refining the best elixir, and obtain the god level formula. To be continued. If you like this work, you are welcome to vote for recommendations and monthly votes. Your support is my biggest motivation. Mobile phone users, please go to M to read. To be continued. Cannon Fodder Strategy. Author, Juan ERWR. Chapter 1231. Persistence is indeed a good thing. The first thing Lily noticed was the large amount of medicinal materials needed to refine the Emperor pill. Even if she had the memories of the original owner in the plot, Lily Tong had stayed in the game for more than half a year. Judging from time, the medicinal materials required to refine this Emperor pill are very rare and expensive. Moreover, this elixir requires a lot of medicinal materials. The cost of one elixir will be half a year later, and even an average player may not be able to afford it. The effect of this elixir is not clear. There is no explanation of its efficacy like the previous Shedan pill, or even nothing at all. Lily doesn't understand the efficacy of the Emperor pill for the time being, so she doesn't care about it. Currently, she can't collect these medicinal materials at all. When she reaches a certain level in the future and can collect medicinal materials, she can refine the Emperor level pill. Once it is refined, you will naturally know what effect it has. Under the influence of the excellent snake gallbladder pill, the wound on the leg was only a shallow scar. Lily took out the roasted snake meat and ate a few pieces to regain her strength. Then she glanced at the wolf corpse on the ground, feeling a little pity. As shook his head. Because it was the first time she used the Tao Te Ching in the game, she was too heavy-handed, causing the skins of these green wolves to be almost destroyed. Fortunately, the meat of the green wolves could still be used. Judging from the situation of the colorful pythons before, it was very maybe the blue wolf's fangs can be collected to hand over the mission. After picking up all the green wolf's bodies, Lily went deep into the wolf cliff. After she used the electric shock technique to kill a large group of wolves in an instant, Lily found the best way to deal with the wolves, so she began to actively search for the wolves, but Lily soon discovered that such a move would consume her physical strength quickly. The harvest couldn't be very big, so she cut open the green wolf corpses collected in her space with a dagger and used the bloody smell as bait. As a result, a large wave of wolves soon came, and Lily used electric shock to kill the wolves. Repeat this several times. There are already a lot of wolf corpses piled up in her space, and every time a wolf is killed, the experience points will increase significantly. For people of the same level, there are too many green wolves on the wolf cliff. It suddenly became a sacred place for Lily to level up, and she had already reached a level in half a day. After nightfall, Lily temporarily stopped killing wolves. She still had a lot of experience left before reaching level 12. There were too many wolf corpses in her bag and she needed to deal with them. And after a busy day, she was also hungry. She took out all these green wolves and prepared to skin them. She then became better and better at combining the water and electric shock techniques. By the later stage, Lily had almost gradually become able to control the use of water, and could only concentrate on controlling her spiritual power, so that she could control the thunder and lightning technique to kill Green Wolf. In this way, most of Green Wolf's corpses were relatively intact. She peeled off a lot of skins in a row, and the effect of persistence came into play again. She peeled off many top-quality complete green wolf skins and packed these fine leathers separately from ordinary skins. Lily cleaned up the things and finished the roasted green wolf meat. After feeling her strength recover, many green wolves around her were once again attracted by the bloody smell when she skinned them just now. Originally, lighting a fire in the night attracted animals. Although the green wolf did not approach immediately due to the light of the fire, this time many wolves came over. Lily threw the eaten wolf legs into the wolf pack, as if it was as a signal. A large number of wolves rushed towards her. Logically speaking, the human race should be in more danger in the wild at night, but because Lily also belongs to the ghost race, so the night had no effect on her at all. And because of the racial talent of the ghost tribe, her spells were more lethal than during the day, with a touch of corrosive power, and a large wave of green wolves were quickly killed. I stayed in Lily, where the green wolf lives, for about 10 days. She was directly upgraded from level 10 to level 20. After reaching level 20, you want to upgrade further. The experience points required are much more. Although there are many wolves here, the experience points brought by killing each wolf are no longer enough for Lily to upgrade. The person first on the ranking list is already level 32, which is enough. She was 12 levels above her, and the space she rented was already filled with wolf skins and roasted wolf meat. When Lily was about to leave, she heard a wolf howl not far away. During the few days she stayed at Wolf Cliff, Lily had heard howling wolves many times, but never once was it so loud. When she was a little puzzled, the system's prompt tone suddenly rang. Warning. The Queen killed too many green wolves in the Wolf Cliff, reaching 1 million. The deaths of her descendants aroused the anger of the Wolf King. The Wolf King appeared, intending to lead the green wolves to attack Lulan Town. Warriors, pick up the weapons in your hands, kill the Green Wolf King, and maintain the safety of Lulan Town. The warrior who destroys the Green Wolf King will be thanked by Mayor Lulan. The same 3 announcements were made 3 times in the game, and the whole game exploded again. Qinli, damn it, who is this queen? How could she kill so many million green wolves? Qinli, is there a boss? Qinli, pay a lot of money to find the coordinates. Qinli News, where is Lulan Town? 1,000 miles of sound. Lowland Town is a small town in the human race, with coordinates at. There was a lot of noise and various sounds in her ears, but the corners of Lily's mouth curled up slightly at this moment. The Green Wolf King appeared and was prompted by the system, which proved that during the time when she left the game and returned to reality, no one summoned the boss to attack. Because boss rewards are much greater than ordinary monsters, in Star Overlord, the probability of boss appearing is not high, and it all depends on luck. Unexpectedly, this time Lily tried her best to level up the green wolves, but because she killed too many green wolves, she summoned the boss. On weekdays, there are fewer people in the Wolf Cliff. Just as Lily had guessed before, people with higher levels are reluctant to come here because they think they have too little experience. There are too many wolves here with lower levels and they are easily injured here. Injuries in the game are 100% painful. Not everyone can be as tolerant as Lily, so not many people come, and now it shows its benefits. The system has obviously made an announcement, but because no one usually comes to Langiabi, now even though the boss's location has been prompted by the system, no one can catch it, and in the early stages of the game there was no one. With the emergence of life players, before the emergence of transportation tools, everyone relied on running no matter where they went. When these people came over, as long as Lily moved faster, maybe the Green Wolf King would be hers without fighting with her. Got it? Lily put the things away and ran quickly in the direction where the Blue Wolf King howled just now. In fact, she is not far from the location of the Green Wolf King. After all, she has been staying in the same place to lure wolves in the past few days. There are too many wolves killed here. Naturally, the Green Wolf King also appears nearby. Lily, almost before I ran 100 meters away, I saw a huge wolf appearing not far away. A green wolf, about 7 or 8 meters tall, was looking around with its head held high and its mouth open. A large amount of saliva poured down from the corner of its mouth. A large group of green wolves had gathered at its feet. Now the wolves were crawling around it. The moonlight shone on it. It shook its body. The green wolf hair was like steel needles. Generally stood up. The target was too obvious. Once Lily was sure that this was the Blue Wolf King, she spread her hands without hesitation and sent a large amount of electricity towards the ordinary green wolf at the feet of the Blue Wolf King. She has gained experience in killing green wolves these days. A large group of green wolves that looked unusually small in front of the Wolf King screamed and died in response to the sound of electric current. The majestic Wolf King, who was still looking around vigilantly, became furious when he heard the death of the green wolf. The huge wolf had turned around and stared at Lily fiercely, his nose wrinkled. Its ferocious teeth were exposed, and a lot of saliva dripped from the corners of its mouth. Because of the rage, the green hair on the neck of the Wolf King stood up. Ouch! The Wolf King let out a sharp howl. When Lily was stared at by it, her whole body was stunned. An invisible pressure surged over. In the game, this is called strength suppression. It should be the Green Wolf King. This situation will only occur if her level strength is at least 5 levels higher than hers. Lily was stared at by the Wolf King, but she did not panic. Instead, she calmly cleaned up the ordinary green wolves around her, then took out a piece of wolf meat from her bag and stuffed it into her mouth to replenish her physical strength. At this time, the Wolf King saw that she was still killing his people in front of him. He was so angry that he scratched the ground with all 4 limbs. A large amount of soil was splashed by it. It only kicked lightly with its hind legs and rushed towards Lily. Come over. This thing has a big body and plenty of strength. Lily chose the legal profession. Relatively speaking, her physical talents are not as strong as those of the gods or orcs. Although she has practiced star training, if she is to compete with physical strength, she should be stronger than the average newcomer of the same level. But right now, considering the situation, she had no way to fight against the Wolf King head-on, so Lily chose to run. She cast lightning while running. Every time the electric current hit the Wolf King, it left some skin wounds on it, but it did not affect its movements. On the contrary, because of the stimulation of pain, the Wolf King became furious all of a sudden. Get up and go faster. Every time it reaches for its claws, even if Lily dodges quickly, she will still be injured to some extent. Lily specializes in places with many trees. Because her body is smaller than the Wolf King and much more flexible, she leads the Wolf King around among the trees. It is tall and strong, and many trees that are half as tall as a man will break apart when it hits them. Many trees cannot even withstand the force of its claws and are smashed to pieces. However, in this way, its physical strength will be exhausted quickly, although it was fierce, but Lily used this method to add a few lightning strikes to it from time to time, and soon the Wolf King was also covered in injuries. To be continued. If you like this work, you are welcome to vote for recommendations and monthly votes. Your support is my biggest motivation. Mobile phone users, please go to M to read. To be continued.